So good morning, everybody. We're all here. We're not all
Morning.
here, but a good amount of us are here. And today we're just going to help people with their sex life. So we're just going to throw out tips for 2025 and hopefully it'll be helpful to somebody. All right. So who wants to go first? And I'll let either Mary Hannah or Taj go first since Amanda's new to the group.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mary Hannah, girl.
Sure, yeah. So I know, like, for me, whenever I ask clients, like, what was the best sex that you had? What made it the best sex? Almost across the board, little variations here and there, right? But almost across the board, people say it was when I was just so in it. There was nothing else going on. It's like we were the only two people in the world. I wasn't thinking about anything else. And so that seems to be the through line, right? Of like how present you are during sex. And so I would say like the first tip I would give is like just starting to notice how often are you checking out during sex? When do you start to check out? Or even just go internal, like start to like worry of like, oh, what is this? What do I need to do? What do I like? What are the chores I need to get done even? What's the checklist I need to do tomorrow? And as soon as you notice yourself trying to like go internal, check out, try to bring yourself back. And that's a lot, right? But that is a huge thing of how much you're going to enjoy sex or not is if you're present in the moment and grounded in the moment.
Okay, so I want to piggyback on that and say it's much easier for you to be present if you have scheduled the time to be present. And so we still get a lot of couples like, I want to be spontaneous. Okay, y'all got 5 kids under 5, 2 full-time jobs. Y'all both want to start businesses and y'all are both working on your PhD programs. There is no spontaneousness in your life right now at all. You're going to have to schedule the time, be intentional, schedule it at a time when you guys are both awake and aware and have the capacity to be desirous, If you are trying to, after a full day, let's say you're going to the gym in the morning. So let's say a full day, you're trying to be awake, aware, adventurous, desirous at 10 p.m. Most adults cannot do that. There cannot be done. And so I want to remind couples, I want to tell couples, there's a period in your life where spontaneity is not a thing for you. Throw it out the window. We can pick it up in 5 years, maybe 10 years, depending on what's happening with the kids and everything. But right now, you're going to go for scheduled intentionality. And then what else do you need to happen in that time period to show up present to a sexual experience? And so by that, I mean, do you need to have a conversation with each other first? Like, hey, how are you? Okay, like just that simple. It is hard for a good amount of people to jump from washing the dishes to sex or from working on a project to sex. There needs to be some type of bridge to desire. And so let's be intentional about what that is and making that happen. For one of my couples, they play board games together. Just a simple board game. Like, don't even get fancy. Just do Uno. Like, we don't even have to learn something new. Just do something basic Uno that has you present, that has you paying attention, and just being in that moment with your partner. And then we can see where it goes after that. Okay. That's my 2 cents.
And then also too, even as a last tack on to that is I often also end up working with couples or individuals on how to be grounded in other parts of their life. Like a lot of times I'll go through with them and kind of see like, oh yeah, thoughts are running through your mind constantly. You don't find yourself grounded through many moments of your life. And so even having to work on developing that pattern outside of sex and figuring out how to do it at all.
Oh, that's a really good one. So good. Okay. Taj, do you have something you want to add? Just help with sex life.
You both stole what I was going to say, so thank you for that. Basically, I was going to say kind of throw away not everything you know about sex, but a lot of it, because things change all the time. You change, your partners change, your desires change, your partner's desires change. And so, okay, what I'll actually say is be more flexible.
Mm.
And what I find is that a lot of my clients will be rigid in their perspective about sex and how they expect sex to be. And if anything happens outside of that,
Mm-hmm.
something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say, relax a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and like accept that things are going to change. And I understand that that is easier said than done, but that's a lot of the work that I do is helping my clients come to terms with where they are at present and learning how to pull pleasure out of the present moment
Mm-hmm.
and where they are in their lives, and
Mm-hmm.
understanding that it's okay for their pleasure principles to evolve and for things to
Ooh.
be different and to try something new and to be curious. Like, it's okay to do that in your
Mm-hmm.
30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, beyond. It's okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just want to empower all of our listeners and encourage all of our listeners, try that thing you've thought about and you've been scared to try.
Mm.
We really don't have anything but the present. Everything else is kind of in our minds. We have right now. So,
Yeah, that was good. Oh, that was good. Okay, Amanda, anything you want to add to the conversation as of yet?
Sure. I appreciate like hearing all of your tips. And Natalie, you talked about like there's a time for spontaneity and there's a time for scheduling things, kids, work.
Mm-hmm.
And as somebody who is sort of coming out of that time for no spontaneity, my kids are 10 and 13 now. So like we're moving into a different stage. I have to reflect what Taj said, like being flexible about your spontaneity and your scheduling can also like that can open up a whole new world that sometimes you have
Mm-hmm.
things on the schedule. Sometimes, you have something planned, but an extra 30 minutes pops up somewhere that you're like,
Mm-hmm.
the time is now, man. Let's get going. And I think flexibility, like Taj said, is just so key in knowing ourselves and knowing our partners, and allowing that sort of play together, like that journey together, open up.
play
I
together.
think that flexibility is just so key, no matter what element we're talking about in our sex lives. So,
Oh, that's a good one.
so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like keep
Yeah.
being flexible, guys.
Okay, so I'm going to add on to that and say a tip for 2025 is recheck in with your partner on their likes and dislikes. And so if you guys have been having sex for any period of time, I'm going to say 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, why not have a conversation again like you were dating? Like, what do you like? What are you into? Well, what do you think? Even you may even want to get a book off the internet, like the Karma Sutra. Like, what if we start doing these things? But having a conversation about where we are now. Okay, because when I started having sex with you, I was 22, and now I'm 52, and some things are different. Some things are different. And so I used to like that, but I don't like that anymore. Or that used to work for my body, but it doesn't work anymore. And so really making sure that couples take time from every now and then and just have a conversation of like what do you really like now? What's really interesting to you now? What makes a good question for couples to ask? What makes for great sex for you now? Like, what's that? Like, just sit down. Just have a nice conversation, nice bottle of wine. Just what makes a great sex experience for you now. Also, in the last couple of weeks, it's been I've just kept having these conversations where what made good sex for one person is completely different than what makes good sex for another person. And so I just want to encourage everybody to actually listen to your partner and believe them. There it is. And so sometimes, because it's so foreign to us, we don't actually believe our partner is saying what they're saying.
Mm.
And so the example is I had one couple, one partner was saying, okay, what makes great sex for you? And then they were very physical. If this happens, if this happens, if this happens. The other partner was just like respect. Okay. But what makes a good sexual experience for you? And the other partner's respect. Okay. But what I'm asking is like during the sexual experience, what makes a great experience for you? The answer is still respect. And so it was just so interesting to see like a couple in the same conversation, but so and speaking the same language and still not understanding each other and like what that means. And I think the longer couples are together, it's so interesting. There's this kind of dichotomy of you know each other better and better, and then you realize you don't know anything about the partner. And like it's this like, how do I not know that about you? When did that change? Because there can be subtle changes throughout the years, and so what was true yesterday is no longer true today. And so being open to that, especially in your sex life, especially in your sex life. Okay. All right. What else is coming up for you guys?
I love, Natalie, if I might, I love that you brought that up about like long-term couples doing those check-ins. Because I mean, I can share. I'm 40. I've been partnered for 20 years, and it's for some reason, like you were saying, the longer that people are together, it can be harder to have that discussion. I guess you get stuck in your like routines, and that shouldn't be scary. Like you know this person, or you hope you know this person so deeply and so intimately that I think it's hard to break that pattern of like not talking. But like stepping into that discomfort can be so liberating when you can finally have that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such just a weird dynamic. It's like, but I see you every day. Why do I have to talk to you? Or like, what do we need to talk about? Because we know we need everything about each other. And yet there's this vast, I want to say barrel, like there's this vast like amount of information out there that you might not know about your partner. And it's just always so interesting because if we're together every day, we might not get into those deeper conversations, right? We're just going through the everyday. Okay. All right. What else is coming up? Mary Hannah, Taj, anything coming up for you guys?
Yeah. So one tip I would also mention is to ask yourself and like your partner too, having a conversation about how responsible you feel about over sex and making sex happen and how
Mm.
high the stakes are. That's also a thing that I see a lot with my clients is a partner
Mhm.
that feels a lot of pressure and responsibility to make sex happen for the other partner. And the
Mm.
more responsibility and pressure you feel, that is a poison to your own desire.
Mm.
And then also too, like stakes. I talk a lot with couples and get to this idea where they have a lot of these existential questions about the relationship wrapped up in sex. And so it's like, is our sex life healthy? Do they want me? Am I a desirable person? How do I
Mhm.
feel about my body? And all these questions come up. And so it makes sex really scary. Like I tell couples,
Yeah.
like, it makes sense that you are avoiding sex right now because you're avoiding these questions. And in your mind, to fail like sex, would be to fail these big questions. And that would
Mhm.
be really scary. And for some people, it
Mhm.
feels like it even puts the relationship into jeopardy.
It does.
And so I work a lot with couples in having to lower the stakes. How can we make it where if something goes wrong, during sex, it's okay. It doesn't define you or the relationship. You can try again next time.
Mhm.
So even like figuring out what do you have tied up in sex? What would it mean if it didn't go well?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a great conversation. Great, great, great. Okay. I'm not going to jump on that because I might stay on that like 20 minutes. All right. So, Tash, I'm going to let you speak.
Um, I just wanted to say this short little point.
Hmm.
Everyone has touched on it, but just the change of being a young, fresh, cute couple to we're 20 years down the line and looking at each other crazy because we don't know what's going on. And I would just encourage couples to always tap into those first few months. And we talk a lot about scheduling sex. And I just want to remind people that when you first started dating and first became sexually active with your partner, y'all were scheduling sex. It just was fun. And, like you were scheduling dates, but you was also, going to get a wax. You was also making sure your bed sheets was clean. You were also, that's you scheduling sex. And I just want to encourage that reframe. Like, it's okay to schedule sex. That doesn't take the sexy out of it. It doesn't take the fun out of it. And just keep that in mind, keep dating your partner as if it's the first month.
Yeah. And I want to remind people, because I think even if as you say that, I was like, how do you do it? And I think people are making it much more complicated than they need to. And so call your partner on the phone and have a conversation with them, even if they're in the other room. Call them up and ask them for a date, an official date. And just little things that you did at the beginning. Don't make it complicated, just do it. So, all right, Amanda, you were looking like you wanted to say something, I think. Nope. Okay. All right, anybody else?
I think that brings up so many great things, Taj, especially to like even just the general attitude of like sex being something that people feel so like scared of and isolated about and worried about, and trying to get back to that place of like, this is something that is exciting or can be exciting and full of potential, I think I had one more thought too about what you were mentioning, but it'll come back to me. But I feel like there are so many ways in which you can be intentional about spending time with your partner even outside of sex, and even like introducing like physical intimacy outside of sex. I love like what Gottman says, where like a kiss has to be at least 6 seconds long, I think, for serotonin to be released in your brain with your partner. And so having like kisses that are 6 seconds long, having like also those rituals of like when a partner is coming home, when you're coming home, or when you're leaving, having those points where you're meeting together and really having that like emotional or physical bond even outside of sex to help build to that, instead of just like 0 to 100.
Yeah, excellent point. So, okay. All right, anything else anybody wanted to add? Okay. I want to remind people that sex is a journey. It's not a place where we've arrived and we're perfect and it's going to stay like this forever. Like it's a journey. And so, and when you think of, because I feel like I have a lot of couples who are like working to get there. Okay, where is there? And even if we get there, it'll probably change. You'll be there for like a week and something will change, whether it be the schedule or you'll get pregnant. Like there'll be there is I want people to adopt the journey, definitely. And that the journey is going to have many different facets to it and different things. And I would love people to see their sex life as a journey, not just this place that we're achieving for kind of, like we have the goal, we're going to get it perfect and then it's going to stay like that. It's going to ebb and flow and and I don't even know where that comes from. Where do y'all think it comes from? Do y'all see that as well in your clients? Like there's this, we got to get it together. We're going to get it together. It's going to be perfect. And then like, I don't know, the rest of my life will be perfect. I have no idea what they think.
Yeah.
I'm quick to blame society.
Okay.
American society and this constant desire to upgrade, to be better, to improve, to be perfect. But I blame everything on our society. So
All right,
Yeah.
Marietta.
It's definitely like that black and white thinking. You're in or you're out. It's old or it's new. Like, especially too, because of like the depictions that we see of sex, since we don't get like a great sex education, a lot of it's just what we glean from what we see depicted in movies, media, or like hear about. And it's either no sex, unhappy, like sad couple, or happy couple having sex, you know? Like that's always how you see couples depicted that are happy in a movie is they end the scene by having sex, alluded to.
Right.
When a lot of times I have a lot of couples that are like, everything else is pretty much good. We just can't figure out how to make this work.
Yeah.
And so like there is an in between.
There definitely is an in between. And I want to just caution everybody, most sex you see on TV is between unmarried, uncommitted couples. Like they just met, they're dating. It's not in very committed couples who've been together 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You just pay attention to TV just for the next 24 hours and notice, are the people who are having sex in committed relationships? And if so, how long have they been in that committed relationship? There's this kind of like, it's hot because TV, it gives us this idea that it's hot and heavy, but it doesn't paint the picture for what sex looks like in a long-term committed relationship, because it might still be hot and heavy, but also it might be loving and endearing. It also might be really funny. It also might be just because we haven't connected in a while. And so I tell my couples, I want your sex life to mirror your actual relationship in your actual life. And so, yeah, does it look like that? Like, because I think you're going for what it looked like on, for a while, there was a TV show called Power, and all my clients was like, we want to have sex like they do on Power. No, let's not. Maybe it's just can we not compare our lives to TV? Can we not? Can we find realistic people to compare our lives to that you could actually like call on your cell phone? Because actors really do work out 3-4 hours a day. You just, it's not the thing. And so just kind of reminding people of that, like, where are you getting these ideas from? Where are you? And so even in basic research, I think they did basic research with like little girls that if they stopped watching TV, their body image positivity went up. Period. And so as adults, you're being impacted by TV too. And so just remember that and don't compare your sex life to something that happened on TV. But we want it to be like whatever TV show. Stop it. If that is what's coming out of your mouth, don't say it. Don't say it and go back and do a whole rebrand of what sex should be like in your mind. And I really only want you comparing your sex life. I don't even want you comparing it with anybody. I just want you talking about to your partner about what works for us, not looking at social media, not looking at TV, what works for us, just us. Okay. And then so if for both of you guys, sex once a year work, don't worry about being normal. Don't worry about there is no normal. Don't worry about that. Just, does this work for us? And if it doesn't work for us, what will work for us? Okay. Just you two, like shut the rest of the world out. Okay. What else?
I know that this is going to sound controversial to many people, but it's not about the orgasm, y'all.
Ooh,
it is not about the orgasm. I talked to couples and I asked them, like, what was your favorite part about sex? And like, sure, having an orgasm is great. There are like techniques you can learn about what your partner likes. And also too, people will think about it and agree, yeah, sometimes the orgasm is just like, sure, whatever. But the best part was like beforehand, really being into it with my partner.
Yeah.
And I know that can just be a really big fixed point for people, is like the worry of, did my partner not like it? Did I not like it? Why didn't I orgasm? Why didn't they orgasm? That is not the goalpost. Move the goalpost wherever y'all want to, just enjoying each other, having pleasure for as long as you want to. And if orgasm is a part of that, that's great. But if it's not, that does not define y'all or how successful the sex was.
Mm-hmm. which I want to go back. Taj, you want to say something? Because I'll save some time with you. Okay. I want to go back to um, what is good sex to your partner? What is good sex to you? And then believing them. And so over Christmas, one of my friends gave me the nicest gift, but she put it in this plastic container that had a handle on it. And I loved the container more. I was like, I love this container. Where did you get this? She's like, QVC, like, I love the container. And so it's not that I didn't like the gift, but this is a plastic container that has a handle. Like, I could put my whole lunch in here and carry it, like, with 8 other things in my hand. Like, I so love the container. It was so practical and I can use it. And I just want, like, people to know, like, sometimes life is like that and sex is like that. When you're talking to your partner and you're thinking this one thing, like, this is the gift. And they're like, but all these other things is what makes it work for me. And so I don't even know where the gift is right now, but I know where that container is right now. Like I'm a container person. Like, I like containers. And so that did it for me. And so just really listening to your partner and believing them when they say, this is the part of sex that works for me. This is the part of sex that I need the most. And then making sure that happens and just listen to each other. We're not, just as of late, it feels like people aren't listening to each other because they're not believing them, because it's not their experience, you know? And so, but I'm giving you this great gift. Why would you like the box? Like they say, kids who, will like the box more than the Christmas gift they get. It's just like that sometimes, and just understanding that. So, okay. Final thoughts? Any final thoughts y'all have for the people? Mary Hannah?
I would say it is not hopeless. Y'all can find your way back, and there are other people like you. You are not alone in what you experience. Also, too, it is normal. Like, the way that you feel about sex, like, if you're not interested in it right now, or if something's going on, that is like your sexual response in your body reacting appropriately to whatever is happening in your environment. You are not broken. You are not the one that has to get it together and get back into sex, Like, even if you are the one with low libido, that doesn't make you the problem patient.
Right.
Things make sense as they are right now, and you and your partner can work together to create something new. It's not.
Great. Wonderful. All right. Well, for the year, we are here. We're Atlanta Sex Therapy. And so if you guys have a question, y'all can feel free to get on our website and look at more videos we have, our YouTube channels. But we're here to support. And so if you feel like you need more work, more in-depth help, or you just have a lot more questions, come in, do some sessions with us and help us get you back on track. I think a lot of couples will say it's easier for whatever reason to have a conversation with a third party present. And so we're here for you. And so there's no judgment. We just want a sex life that works for you, and we'll help you get it. So thank you guys, and y'all have a great day. All right. Bye-bye.